Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to be talking about easy mistakes that we make when we're doing our makeup. It's very common. I do it. A lot of people does it. They just make these little mistakes, and there's ways to fix it to bring the quality of your makeup better, where your makeup might last longer, it might look better. And I figured I'd just show you some tips and tricks that I have found very handy, and we're going to go ahead and get started. The first thing is primer. Here's a big thing about primer. Now, I do put my skincare on before, normally about 30 minutes before I do my makeup. I like to give it time to dry and get the tackiness to help hold my foundation better. And I always use a primer. I did use the Purlisse Mochi green tea with moisturizer in it today because I thought my skin needed a little bit moisturizer, and I only really put it where I needed it. And with this one, we're going to be doing the e.l.f. Poreless Primer, and I could have bought me an extra container here a while back and decided not to, and then when I'm almost out, they don't have it. Okay, so with this, you really just want to put it, you don't want to put it all over your face. You really just want to put it where your pores or where you need it. So normally, it's in the T-zone area. I like to put it on my finger. Sometimes I do like to heat it up, but I just like to push it and pull, just to help fill in what I need. And by pushing it in or tapping it in, you just really get it right where you need it, and it will fill the pores better by just tapping it in, besides just rubbing it. Rubbing it doesn't always mean it's going to hit right in the pores, but that's just what I do. And normally what I do is I will take a setting spray and just spray it and then give it time to dry. Sometimes I will help it along and use a fan, and then I will let that dry, and I will be right back. Okay, now since my setting spray is dried, I've already done my brows. I just ran a pencil through it today and combed it out. I will fix them as I go. A lot of times I do go ahead and do them and sculpt them and stuff, but I'm not going to do that today. I'm not going to do a lot of, because when I do my foundation and my eye primer and stuff, I will fix it then, because that's just a step I don't have to do. Okay, so sometimes we want like a matte finish. Sometimes we want a glowy. 9 times out of 10, I really want to glow. So I don't like to use a lot of mattes. Now this ain't supposed to be matte, but to me it feels matte. It's the Wonder Beauty Nude Illusion, and I did get it for a pink undertone because I am pink undertone, but I really just don't think. Normally I just like to get enough on there. Normally I don't like to use a Dova application. I normally like to put it on the back of my hands or on a, I got a mirror for that. But I always make sure that whatever's left on the brush, that I bring it down my neck. Now this is supposed to be my color, but it really just ain't. But it will do. We'll all come together. Another thing I really noticed, I don't know, there's something about people that I personally know in foundation that I don't know what it is, that they're missing spots of their foundation. And I really think that's just if in an hour, if your foundation disappears, even off like your cheek or here or there, I think you just really need to take setting powder and set certain spots of your face to keep your foundation into place. Now me myself, I like the finish of a beauty blender, but I have a Morphe brush that is drying that I absolutely love. I stipple my foundation on with it most days. I use this a lot. Other foundation brushes, I have to have this. to get a nice even finish. So like when you're using a brush, you really want to make sure, with most of them, you do take a beauty blender or something like a beauty blender and just smooth out your foundation. And we want to make sure we are getting our ears and our hairline. I always make sure I get up in my hairline so it doesn't look like I'm wearing a mask or something like that. And right here where my cat attacked me last year, I do have a scar from it, so I always make sure that I get foundation up there so that scar is not like popping through. Same thing with right here. Like I guess he must have bit me here, and here was he ripped me with his claws. So I always make sure that I cover this and this. You're going to use this concealer since I do have this done. Now a lot of people makes a triangle. I have talked to a lot, and I do mean a lot, of professional makeup artists. They say you never ever do that. They said what you need to do is, I really need to start using a mirror, but really right in here where you need it, and they's like, really you want to bring it over here on the cheekbone, and but because you want to highlight the cheekbone in the end. And that's really what you want to do, is really get it like, but me, myself, I do like to drop it down a little bit. But you're more worried about this dark spot and highlighting this cheekbone, jawbone. Okay. So then I use my beauty blender and I just and when I get here, I really want to pat. And also, let me bring some up on my eyelid. And what I do is where I'm using the end, I will take it like across my brows to help shape my brows, so that I'm not creasing, which a lot of times I do because I get in a hurry. But you can also take a finger, always just for some reason take my middle fingers and pat it, and you can keep it from creasing. No, I ain't been sleeping good, so it's like very hard for me. So just I can really get it really good by just tapping it and not getting no creases. And I do like to take, normally I will take a brush or I will take a beauty blender and knock off all excess and set underneath. This concealer, it's the L'Oreal Paris Infallible Full Wear. It is a very thick formula. I really do like it. It's more than a concealer. You probably could use this as a foundation. I love that. That was like my favorite one until I got the e.l.f. one. I really, really like it. The one with the orange top. I'm trying to show you guys what I'm doing and not using my mirror. And that's probably going to mess me up. Okay. Then I like to set my face. Then I will put a little bit more right here. I'm very careful about setting down through here because, like I said, I've got pores right in here. And it seems like even though I can use a lot of primer and like I've got it until the powder starts, and if I do not like to put too much powder right in this area right here, because it will start dropping and you can start seeing the pores, and I don't like it. And my nose, I will just heavily set, but I watch when I'm doing this so that I do not get it in that area. And I like to set right here and around my mouth. I talk a lot, so it's like I will get lines, and I just like to set it around my whole mouth most of the time. And whatever's excess, I will take up here and do this part. Okay, so I'm going to let that bake. I like to bake for about 5 minutes. I found that it helps keep my nose in place and stuff like that. And I will be right back. Okay, guys, I am finished baking now. And now we're going to swipe it away. I like to use a brush that is soft but dense. I either use one of these. This one is like really good for it. It's just the shape that you can like swipe everything away really good. I like to take a powder that's got like a little color to it. And normally I've got another brush I use for it, but I like to take something with a little color and just really like stamp it on here, because when I go to do powder, bronzers, or a contour or something, sometimes like certain formulas, if it's on just like straight foundation, will like leave a bad spot. And so I do like to use something that's got, this looks like the e.l.f. My lid popped off of it. When you are contouring, I'm going to tell you something, or bronzing, I call it both. I think they're really about the same thing. It's really about, contouring is really you're adding structure, you know, making your face look like a certain shape, bringing out your natural bones. And bronzing is more like, you know, you're adding color like I really need right now. I still look a little powdery, but I will fix that later on when we're done. Okay, so I like to make sure that I am using a good brush. Brushes to me mean everything. Now this brush I love. I used it yesterday and it's really dirty, but it's been used one time. I took a makeup wipe to it, wiped it down. I have like, the Black Skull is a completely full of contour brushes, pretty much. But I don't know, there's something about this one. The other ones, it's got like, some of the other ones I'm just not crazy about. But when we are contouring or bronzing, I'm going to more like bronze today. You really want to watch what you're doing. You really want to you want to feel, especially if you're just starting makeup, you really want to feel here, and you want to get a brush that you're comfortable with. All brushes are not made equally. That's just, you know, not like people, we're all made equally. Brushes, not so. Like a brush like this, I don't like to, like, I mean, if I'm really just contouring, I don't care to use it, but I'm more like it for my nose. And I think a contour brush or a bronzer brush, you should have an angle to it, not just a straight brush. You could use a blush brush. You know, I've contoured with this one, and sometimes like I will like squeeze them together and like really go in with something like this. I had one that I absolutely loved, and it's a big old brush, and I would like just the way it felt and stuff. It just really done the job, but you had to squeeze it. That's why I love this brush. But you really need, like, check your bones, see where, and if you have to, some people says, I've had professional makeup artists tell me to like look up and like see where the light hits, see where the shadows are. But I pretty much just really go by my bones structure. So mine is right in here. So I will start lightly. I will tap it. I'm not going to like swipe it in any way. I will start off with tapping it and bringing it back. And pretty much bringing it where I want it. Okay, when you start, here is like the biggest mistake and why contour and bronzing looks patchy on a lot of people, and sometimes it can be an amazing product. And you can mess that whole product up by the application of it. I've seen it done like a lot. Something like this color right here is not orangey, you know, it's brown. I tapped it where I wanted it, and sometimes I don't do that. Sometimes I just put it straight on. But when you're contouring, you really want you want to go one direction. I don't care if you're going this way or this way. But when you're, like, I go this way, but I always pick my brush back up. It may not look like it, but I'm always picking my brush back up when I come back up, because if not, it will make it look patchy. That's just something it does. So I like how everything's turning out. And I really didn't know that because I kept wondering why mine was getting patchy. And then I talked to a professional makeup artist and talked to them about it. And they was like, you know, that's an amazing product. It should not do that. And they asked how I applied it. And I told, and I pretty much showed them. And they was like, yeah, it's you. Which I'm always up. Always want to learn new tricks, new things, like help me out so that I can make my makeup better. And when I'm doing someone's makeup, I always want to be able to do their makeup the best that I can do. And look, keep. Okay, and another thing you want to do when you're contouring, or especially bronzing, when you go to do your neck, you want to blend it down so you don't have that harsh line. You really want to make sure you do that, or you can have a big dark line. And just blend downward so you don't have that. Okay. So next, we're going to do blush. Now, blush to me is something that we can do so many different ways and still be right. Only thing we don't want to do is look like door makeup like Mimi from Drew Carey Show. And that, I mean, everybody tells you to do this and put it on like this, which is pretty. I do like to bring mine up a little bit. Now, a lot of times, I like to just bring my blush higher up and really be, like, right in here and bring it, like, around a little bit. And then you want to put a little bit on the bridge of your nose. Maybe a little there. But that's pretty much. We just really just don't want to, like, put a ton on. And if we do put a ton on, which is alright, easy fix. A lot of people freaks out over it. It's really something easily fixed. Just take a buffer brush, or like this is probably a powder brush. It's a face brush. And just take something like this and really just buffer. And you can do that with your contour or bronzer or everything. I really like to do pretty much it with everything, so that I know that everything is blended out good and even. And that's pretty much what I do. So our next step, I always save highlighter for last because I don't know what kind of eyeshadow I'm going to wear. So I always save it for last. Next thing I do is get my primer. And this is the next. It's just skin color or skin tone. You can use concealer, and we already got concealer on there, and we probably really didn't need primer. We got foundation on there. We got enough really to hold. I do like to take a little primer, not until the end. I like to put a little bit under when I'm doing my waterline. I do like to put a little bit there sometimes, especially if I'm doing like a dramatic look. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. It just really depends on the eye look that I'm doing. People take eyeshadow and sets it. I really don't. Most of the time I don't do nothing. Sometimes I take a used powder brush that I've been using, and I'll just like do this, set it, good to go. And okay, when we are doing our eyeshadows, when you go to get a brush, you really don't want to grab a brush like this one that's been dipped into brown. Because say, if you're going to use like this palette right here, and you go to get this pink, it's not going to show up. A lot of times a dirty brush will show up like a color you don't really want. But we are going to contour our nose really fast. And now that is something you really want to watch when you're doing. It really depends on the brush. Sometimes I think it's easier to take an eyeshadow brush and just, because you're working on a smaller area. I have the perfect brush for it, but like always, it's a brush that, like, it runs away, really. But I like just to, and I'll just, and I start really lightly because I know I'm going to mess it up. I love for my nose to look good, but it's really hard. Easy to mix your nose up. And I like to go around the curve and just, if your brush ain't stiff enough, it might cause a line like that. So, and I always use, like, where I got this dark color on, I always use a different color on my nose. I use a lighter shade because I really don't want this big line down my nose. Then whatever's left over, I always like to do a little bit right here. Sometimes I like to do the whole lip, but most of the time I always do right here. But now, my trick is, especially since you get like darker lines, I like to use a different setting powder and one with color to it, not a straight white one. And I like to just, I'm going to have to get a mirror for that. Like, just bring it right down. There, my powder's almost out. This is only $4.50 though, guys. This is like such a great powder. Pretty much, you probably didn't see it, the second one, but that's all I do is just get some heavy and bring it down and let it, I'll leave it on until I'm pretty much done doing my eyeshadow. And that makes a world of a difference. You don't really get that harsh line. And I don't know, I seen NikkieTutorial I watched a video today. She took just like her brush that she had contoured her whole face with, and she used her brush like this and then cleaned it up with powder. I'm going to try that and see if it works, because if it does, it will be amazing. Okay. I didn't even pick out what kind of eyeshadow palette we were going to use, so I'm just going to grab, I don't know, I haven't really used, I've got a couple of palettes. I've got these two I got last month. I have not used them, so we're going to play in between with these two from the Balm. I've swatched them, but I really haven't used them. This one is the Alternative of Rock. It's got some pretty colors. It's got a highlighter that I know I wouldn't use because that is like white. For the eyes, that would be really good. But for my skin, no. Okay. This one's got some real beautiful colors in it, too. And it's got its own eye primer. Okay. So, I am going to get a Morphe brush. I'm going to get this one. It's the R35. And I really just want to dip into Naughty or Genius in the Alternative Rock one. And we're going to start off with like a transition color. And a lot of people think like, right, just in the, like where your eyes bend, like that's your crease. Really, it's not. You need to really feel your bone. That is where your crease is. Mine is right here, is where my bone is. Okay, so we're going to go in with the St. Charles one from this palette. And she is right here. Oh, that's got some color to it. Now, I think I got hooded eyes. So I always like to bring my eyeshadow up just a little bit just because of that. And that's another reason it's important to find your crease. So we got that. I'm liking that. I went a little heavy out here on the ends. I don't have an idea what kind of look I'm going to make. Okay. We ain't really got a lot of colors to work with because most of them are shimmer. I am going to like really deepen that crease. I am going to go in with their bronzer, which is More Than You. And I always shake that excess off. You see that roll up because we don't want that on our face because we worked too hard to get to this point. Now that is like one big thing that really gets me is fallout. You can like take your beauty blender or a brush. You can do it with either one. Get you some settings powder and just like put a little extra heavier than that. Put it underneath and like real so in case you do get some fallout, you can wipe it away. Or just put your foundation on last. If it's got really, really bad fallout, I cannot stand to do my makeup and then have spots all over my face. I am going to take a little bit of that first color that we put on, which I used the same brush, which will be alright, and just buff out the rough edges. Got that. And then we are going to go in with All or Nothing right here. I've been trying to get back into wearing like more browns lately. And we're going to use the Jaclyn Hill JH33 times Morphe. I noticed that I just quit like wearing brown. So like the last couple of weeks I've been trying to get back into them. So they don't dry up in my collection. And right here, I just really, in the beginning, I start packing it on and placing it exactly where I want it. Like, see the fallout? That extra powder is really going to help me. Probably should have shut that off. That was my fault for not tapping the excess off. Then I'm just going to blend that. Look, it still got fallout. The thing, you want to make sure that you're always blending your shadows out. You do not want to leave them heavy sitting on your lid. It just looks better when you blend it out. Just place it where you want it and blend. I've been trying to explain this to my mother. She still uses, she buys a pack. Because I talked to her about, you know, keeping her brushes clean. And I'm going to buy her a set of makeup brushes. But she likes still uses the brushes that comes with them. She buys an extra pack or two, and she does throw them away when she's done with them. But I think she would like to have a set of these brushes. I think would be so much better for her. And that's what I'm thinking about getting her for Mother's Day, because she's always talking about, why don't I give her some of my makeup and a little bit under. Okay, so we're going to do the same thing. I am going to get a little bit powder and put right here. Normally, I use a powder that I don't really care much about, because it's just really about catching the extra. I'm going to put it right here. Just catching that extra fallout. We all hate fallout, but it's something, I mean, a lot of palettes is going to have it. It's something we have to learn to live with. But the biggest thing is, like, that was my fault, really. I take responsibility for that fallout because I didn't tap my brush. If when you're dipping into something, like you see it's in the pan, you can see it all over the place. I mean, you blow it away, but when you're getting it out, always make sure to tap it, sometimes double tap it, because fallout is just a thing that's going to happen normally. If we tap it, it's going to come off. We're not going to have fallout on our face. Now, some palettes are going to, no matter what you do, it's going to have fallout. And especially if they're like bold colors, the best thing to do is to do your eyes and then do your foundation so you don't have to worry about having spots all over your face. It's just something that will help you. You don't have to worry about trying to wipe it, trying to then do patchwork to fix it. A lot of people don't like to do that. Some people, I prefer it. Especially, now 9 times out of 10, I always do my eyes, then I do my face. Normally, I'll do my eyes while I'm drinking my coffee in the morning, and it's like, then when I'm ready to get ready and finish with my coffee, I just go ahead and come in here and do my rest of my makeup, which don't really take that long once your eye, or me personally, it don't take long after my eyes are done, because my eyes is like the longest progress. Especially, I don't know, doing a cut crease or doing anything with me. And when I tell my husband, I'm going to be quick, I'm going to do a simple eye look. And I think that we've realized, I don't know what simple it means. This is like simple to me. And make sure they're placed the same. And I'm going to drag a little bit under here. So we've got that. And what we're going to do really quick is, because it was a dark brown, I am just going to cut it a little bit. It really don't need it, but it makes me feel better when I do, because I like for it to look good. And so I am just going to take my pinky and blend it out after I'm done, get it on with the brush, or take another brush and just smooth it out to make sure there's no like hard spots and everything is even. And I'm going to use the Broadway in the Pick Perf palette. No, I think I'll use Sunset. I'm going to use the Sunset. It is this really lovely blue color. I don't know. That's pretty, but it's like really too dark. Okay, so I am going to use this Broadway because I want something brighter. Okay. Okay, when you are going to do this, okay, especially with a shimmer, I'm going to tell you guys something. I've had this problem. Everybody's had this problem. I'm going to use this BH brush and pick it up. Okay, when we are putting this on, this is a simple mistake I see a lot of people make. They do not do that, because you are going to have eyeshadow flying into your nose area. Then you're going to have pieces everywhere. It's going to fall out here and under here, and you do not want to do that. Really, you want to pat it on. And I'm going to tell you something. I have seen, I've done it, been in a rush when I first started makeup, and have a Ophilus gum right here. If you really just take it on your brush and pack it on, it will do good. And you're not really going to have no trouble with it. Now, that's what I like to do. Or, another thing I like to do to make sure I get it on really good, especially since it's a since it is a shimmer, I'm thinking about cooking. I like to pat it on with my finger, and like I'll pat it down, bring it up, and I don't cause a mess. But I'm telling you, if you like, especially like the people in the beginning, if they do, they are going. All you have to do is just like pat it on. Okay. See, I tried to blend it out. I thought I'd show you guys, and see, this is what happens. It falls everywhere, but I can clean that up. That is no big deal. No. Now, I'm going to take this brush right here, and I'm going to get Copper Attitude in its shimmer, and you want to watch it because it will fall out all over your face too. And I just really want to pull it up right in this area. So I got that. And I need to finish getting the brown. So I'm going to grab, I think I'll use this brush right here. It is a Morphe M455. And pick up some more of that brown. And since I see that it has a lot of fallout, I want to just tap it. Okay, so I got that. And I think I'll use this brush right here. I am going to go back in with the St. Charles color. And, like, just blend it out. And I am just going to take it and just blend the rest of the rough edges out. All the way around through there. And I am going to use that lead ashtray just right here in the corner. And put some underneath my brows, which I'll probably have to go back in and fill my brows back in. I'll tell you something else I did not mention. When you are doing foundation and powder and stuff, you never want, once you put powder on, you never want to put cream foundation back over your powder. There's like very small cases, like if you're having like severe problems with keeping your foundation on. If you get and I do mean finely milled powder, you can put like, pick some up out of your container, I mean in the least bit, and like shake it off like really good and maybe hit it, tap it on your hands a couple times. You can barely tap it on your nose to help keep foundation on and then put foundation on, but I mean this has to be very, very finely milled. And there's not too many powders like that, so you have to be very careful. I just don't recommend putting powder all over your face and then doing your foundation. I have seen that a lot lately, and then people's like wanting to know what's wrong with their, like I have a family member that does it, then wonders why they're redoing their foundation in a couple of hours. I want to go ahead and spray my face so that I don't look so powdery. And I'm going to let that dry, and I will be right back. Okay, guys, I am back. I'm looking a little crazy. I am a little crazy. I thought I turned my camera on. And I was sitting here for like 5 minutes talking and did not even realize I didn't have the camera on. Good thing I noticed it and didn't finish like filming everything and thinking, ooh, I'm done. And then makeup done. But I went ahead and I do have liner on. I've got a little bit of mascara. I used the Kat Von D Dagger Tattoo Liner in Trooper Black. And I also used the Smashbox Super Fan. This is such a good mascara. I didn't really use a lot of it. I just want my lashes in place in the black because I most likely am going to use a lash. Now, you really don't need like a wing with an eye look like this because, you know, we're already flared out. We've got enough going on. If you want a wing, that's all right. If you don't, and that's perfectly fine. Or if you don't want no liner on your top line, that's perfectly fine because, you know, you got a lot going on. I think if you're going to use just mascara, I'd do a little line. I wouldn't wing it. I wouldn't recommend that. I mean, I think it would be up to you if you winged it out or not. I always wing it out. Sometimes I regret doing it. I was rushing with this one, and I really don't like it. But I do like the way this one is made. It's got the, where you shake it, and then, you know, the brush tip is made different. I do like it. It is slim. It's very easy to work with. Now, a lot of people, especially beginners, and even me, I still make mistakes with winging it out. I'm not perfect. I don't think anybody is. But I see all these things, you know, do this, do that, and you'll get the perfect wing. I think what I'm going to say is practice, practice, practice. Anything you're going to do, lashes, practice. Wing, practice. I believe that's the only way you're going to really get it is practicing. I don't think always drawing dots or, you know, tape. I'm not putting tape over top my eyeshadow to start with because I'm not going to mess up my makeup. Um, I got it too far to mess it up then. But I always think, you know, just start off small, and I always practice even on days that I'm not wearing makeup. When I first started winging it out, I even practice on days that I did not wear makeup. I just draw it, go, wash it off. You know, whenever I had time, I would sit around and practice, and I think that's for the best. So, what I like to do myself is I kind of like to draw my line where I know I'm gonna wing it. And I'll draw the line. I don't know if you guys can see it because it is black and brown. And then, I think I went a little too far up. And then I like to bring it over. And then I'll finish this up. Then I'll come back to that. I try not to put the mirror in the way, but I gotta have the mirror. Alright, so my camera kicked off for a minute. My camera was full, but okay, so we're just gonna take a little bit of mascara, just to get the color. Sometimes I like to wear like mascara, sometimes I don't. Especially like during like allergy season, which is now. I'm not crazy about wearing it because my eyes will get very itchy, watery, red because the pollen kills me. It all just gets to me. If I'm wearing like a big lash like this, a lot of times I won't wear mascara. I'll just let it go. But now if you're wearing a smaller lash, you really want to blend your lashes in with them. But now this, I don't know. I like this mascara because it really like makes your lashes look a whole lot different. I could probably put a few coats of this on. I really like the way it looks, so I think I'm just going to go without it and throw a little. Now, when it comes to liners for the eyes, I'm going to tell you something. I am very, very particular. Because these, I do not like. They're very pretty. This one, I could use this one. But now, this one, sometimes it's like hard to get them like where they're not like, I like the colors, but well, this one's gonna work. It's like you're like rubbing your eyes, like trying to get the color pay off. And sometimes I like to rub it on my hand to warm it up a little bit to go ahead and like, so it's not gonna be so rough. Because then it feels like it's like really, really killing your eye. Okay, so we got that. And here's another big thing. When we are lining our lips, you need to start with a freshly sharpened lip liner. And I believe overdrawing your lips a little bit is good. But don't try to go down here and out here or bring your lips out like this because that is nobody's shape, okay? Nobody's shaped like that. Try to go, if you're going to overdraw them, try to go with your natural lip shape. Don't try to block it. I've seen women, oh my God, scared me to death. my eyes are gonna, I knew not to wear mascara. Okay. Or the shape is staying the same on both sides, because it's easy to come down here and go in when you need to keep it out. Then I am going to use this really pretty one by Beauty Mandarin. And I like to keep this shape right here. Some people don't. I've seen some people who draws and gets rid of this little cupid bow. I don't like to. I like to keep it. I like it. And then we're going to use a little bit of gloss. Ooh, that's thick. Just going to put it in the center, really just to bring that out more. My eyes is trying to water. I think it was that eyeliner where it was rubbing it on. That's why I don't like them. That's what it does. It causes me like to, my eyes to water. I will fix it. I'll give it a minute and get it fixed. And I'm just going to use this color called Charge in the Wonder Beauty palette called Rush. And I'm just going to use a little bit of it to highlight with. And you want to make sure, now this is a big, big thing. And this is what gets me. And I'm not saying I haven't done it, but you really want to be careful when you're doing highlighter. You do not want a big streak, like a line just like this. You really want to blend it out. You know, you can place it where you want it, kind of like this, but you really just want to blend it out, because a lot of times, especially when the lights hit it, if you just do like this, and certain brushes are really, really bad for it. Smaller brushes will cause it really bad because it's harder to blend with them. Lips, I'll just use my finger. Then I like to put a little bit right here on the cupid bow. Okay. Then I like to put a little bit right here. Like I said, blend it out because you don't want to look like Rudolph. Really, that's it. Now, if you do lashes first, you do most of the time want to go back and refreshen them. I'll just normally go back through with a something like the Brow Gal or my Benefit and just go back through and darken them back up. Now, all I gotta do is fix my hair and I'm pretty much ready. I hope you guys did like this. I hope this did learn you guys some tips or tricks and maybe some entertainment while we're stuck at home. But I want everybody to be able to, you know, easy mistakes are easy fix. My biggest problem is right here, but I make sure that I heavily set it and I go back in with a little bit of a color. And let me see, I did not, I think I dusted it, but to be on the safe side, my nose is done. We're good to go. All I need to do is like really just set my face and I'm good. And maybe do something cute to my hair. But I hope you guys did like this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. And don't forget to hit that subscribe button. And I will see y'all in the next one. Bye for now.